Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Beers and Fears. I'm Brian.
And I'm David. And today we have American-married actress Tristan Risk.
Hey Tristan, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you boys doing?
Fantastic. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day, especially on Valentine's Day. And I know you have a hot date this evening, so we're going to get through this for you as soon as possible. We're going to jump in real quick. Just give us a little bit. I was kind of researching on your website and on your blog. Great blog, by the way. I really enjoyed a lot of your stuff that you wrote. It was really fun. Give us a background about who you are. Like, how long have you been doing this? The acting, the burlesquing, all that. Give us a background of why and where did you start on this whole entire process of who you are now. So.
Cool. Well, I've been performing as a burlesque dancer for almost 12 years now. So. Which is amazing because I'm still 22, right? So right. It's just funny how time works like that. And I toured for 6 years in Canada, the US, Europe. So I got around a lot with a band. So you can imagine what that was like. It was a lot of kind of being a gypsy inside a moving vehicle for a lot of my life. And I also do fetish performances and I write. And then I just kind of wound up. I've always been a horror fan, and then I just kind of got involved with the Soskas, and it's just kind of been like, oh, you don't get to choose what you're good at in life. And apparently I don't suck at this, so yay!
That's awesome.
I can't make pancakes for shit, though. I found that out 2 days ago, so just FYI, if anyone's like having me over for breakfast, waffles, no problem. Pancakes,
not so much. How about French toast?
French toast.
French toast is always a plus, right?
French toast is good. It's a lazy man's pancake. I'm like, I don't have to do anything. Just
exactly. Throw it on a pan. Speaking of the Soskas, we're going to jump in because we just did the review for American Married, and David had a couple questions with working with two directors. What did you?
Yeah. So what was that like? You know, because I heard that it was a short, filming process, and like, what was it like having two directors and trying to work with that? Because normally you only have like one.
Well, I don't normally I can't say that I have a ton of experience working with like just one director, but I can say that the closest thing I can liken it to is probably working with two velociraptors, because it's like,
wow.
You're looking at one and the other one comes in from the side with some notes and is back talking to the crew, but because it was shot in 15 days and time was kind of at a premium, it really worked out well because it was shot on two cameras at the same time. So one of the girls could be talking to the crew about setup or talking to the cast, and then the other one would be doing something else. So they were working in tandem together. But considering that, like, shared a room, high school, their lives together, they know how to work well together and work as a team. And everybody was really on board with what they were doing. So I really enjoyed it. It was kind of, for me, it was like a party. And, a lot of the people were there because they really wanted to be there and they believed in the project, not because everyone was making, like, tons of money, because it's, a second feature and the budget was tight. But it was a really, really good product, and I had a blast on the shoot. The bird, Mary's bird, was my parrot. So nice. On the days when I wasn't there in Beatrice's space, I was there as, like, parrot wrangler, which basically was just, like, making sure she didn't shriek too loudly when you were trying to record audio.
Wow. That's funny. One of the things that... going off the whole two-director part, and you just mentioned on it, 15 days, right?
Yeah.
That's an intense schedule, and with that process, plus the makeup, and I saw on other interviews that you've had, and when we watched it, and we honestly thought the people who had it, including yourself, who had the makeup on, were actually straight up already been modified. That's how real that makap was. I mean, but having to... That process is thinking about that 15 days plus the makeup process. I mean, how intense? I mean, were you guys like basically living on set around the clock filming this? Because how long does the process to put on makeup like that happen?
It was 2 hours in, 1 hour out, and I had two makeup artists working on me at the same time. Wow. And the first day I went to like pull it off my face, and they're like, no. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing anything. I'll be good. But they were really, really great. And I mean, the thing is, people thought that I was a mod on set because I'd show up to set early to get my makeup done.
Oh.
And I'd be like kind of the first in the chair. Like the crew gets there first, and then everybody else kind of shows up. But I was there for actors to get my stuff done. So people who were coming on set, they didn't see me until I came out of the makeup trailer, in which case now I had Beatrice's face on. And they thought that was my real face. And there was friends of mine who were working on the production going, I thought Tristan was working on this. What the hell? And they're like, Christina's working on this. They're like, well, I haven't seen her the whole time. She's Beatrice. And they're like, that's her. Yeah, wow. But it was. I love wearing prosthetics. I wear them all day long. The only thing is that I stopped drinking for the time leading up to the shoot and the shoot itself, because when you drink like I do, not if you drink at all, just if you drink like I do, the alcohol comes out of your skin, right? So I didn't want to, given we had like such a short set of time, and this was my first feature ever, I didn't know if I was ever going to do something else again, so I didn't want to fuck it up. So I stopped drinking. It was just like, I can't risk going in there and having them like put the face on all and having go poof. So yeah, I was on like my really, really good behavior. No dick jokes, no pranking on set, although it was tempting at times.
Sure.
No. I was about as professional as I think I've ever been with anything in my life, which is saying a lot. When you're a professional party girl, like that's kind of, I was just like, wow, I'm uncharacteristically like well behaved by other people's standards for change.
Very well done.
So I'm not open to new experiences, but
very well done. So real quick, going off of the whole pranking stuff, I mean, I'm sorry, I would have had at least
so much temptation. You have no idea.
I mean, just once, even if it was like a McDonald's drive-through or something. Oh, that's hilarious. So no stories you got for us, nothing like that. Or?
The closest thing was there was supposed to be more dance sequences in the film, and just due to kind of time restraints and like, here's the original script, this is what's actually gets shot, and then this is where it gets edited down to. So there was supposed to be quite a bit more dancing in it, but I was trying to coach Katie to do the dancing scene for that kind of fantasy sequence where Billy's watching me, but in his mind it's Mary. And I was like, okay, yeah. And I was like, I came up with this like, really awesome elaborate thing, and then I didn't get any chance to work with Catherine prior to the film because she was on another production. So what it came down to was the day of me like just like shouting instructions to her and like being in the full Beatrice face, and I'm like, this has to be one of the, well, it's not the weirdest experience in my life, but it's definitely kind of like David Lynch surreal going on right now. So it was fun though. She took direction from me really well, and I was just like, oh, I say something and you do it.
Ooh.
Oh,
Such great power. That's awesome.
I was just like, no, just like, hug the stage, just give it to it. I'm like, wait, no stripper talk, Tristan. This isn't for you. This is for the film.
Okay, so like, obviously this film kind of brings in the whole body mod community, and I was kind of wondering, it's like, how much interaction did you have, and then were they involved with like the actual filming? Like how much, and what was it like talking to people that might have been part of this, and like what was your experience like with all that?
I loved it. When I was in high school, I wanted to become a tattoo artist. That never happened. So instead I worked as an art restorer and in the gallery, but I always really admired like the people, like the first tattoo magazines I bought were Tattoo Savage, because they were so extreme and over the top, and I'm like, if you're going to do something, don't fucking half-ass it, like go all the way, right? So the more extreme body modification is something I was always into. And then I discovered corsetry and corset training. So kind of through the people that I met early on in the scene, and this is also coming out of like the fetish scene in Vancouver, there was quite a few people who I knew who worked on the film who also I'd known prior to that, but some of them like Russ Fox, who was the flesh artist consultant who was on set. He's brilliant. He did 2 of my piercings for me, and he's just like super pro all the way. Really nice guy. And this is the thing is, I mean, these people literally wear their hearts on their sleeves. Like most people, you kind of got to dig a little bit before you find out what kind of asshole they are. But these people are usually upfront, really friendly. And the Soskas had said to the crew prior to filming, okay, we're going to have some like legit people who've had body modifications done. Some not as extreme. Other people are going to be a little more extreme. And if anybody on the set is caught like saying anything disparaging about them or to them, or condescending. Like, they are here as our guests. You say that, or we catch you wind of you doing that, you're off the production. Like, we're just not dealing with that. So they were very, you know, they didn't want to portray these people as a freak show, because these people get that a lot. And it's like, yeah, I know what I look like. I know I have horn implants. I know I've got a split tongue. Like, you don't need to stare and point. It's I'm aware of what I look like. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Tell us about, I saw online just recently, and I congratulated you already, but some new project you have coming out. And I saw 3 on your IMDb that I was kind of looking at. And one that caught my eye we're going to talk about at the end, but give us the newest one. One you had, Call Girl. Is that still in production, or what's going on with that right now?
That has been edited, and it's going to be having its, if it hasn't had its screening in Kansas City yet, then it will be shortly. Jill Six, who directed it, she had been keeping me abreast of the situation, and I'm like, I want to come for the premiere, but I can't. But maybe I can just find a way to showcase it here in Vancouver so I can see it on the big screen. And but it's wrapped now. But that was a really fun film to do with Lawrence Harvey. It's just like, you know, being in his presence is just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so awesome. People are going to lose their shit. So it's really fun. It was a really fun experience working with that group, and yeah, I can't wait for people to see that.
And I saw on your Twitter you said that your inspiration for that was from Cool World. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm a big Ralph Bakshi fan, and I think, like, I remember Cool World when I was younger and seeing parts of that and being like, oh. So between Jessica Rabbit and Hollywood, I mean, what little girl of my generation stood a chance to, like, not want to be that, you know? But Holly was kind of sinister in a way, whereas Jessica was, you know, she says it herself, I'm not bad, I'm just drawn that way. Right.
And another one is, you just were announced on the 3rd, I saw on Fangoria. Why don't you tell us, I don't want to drop that, so why don't you go ahead and drop that for everybody. What's your newest casting that you just got casted for?
I have been cast in the role of Rebecca in the upcoming film Love Sick.
Awesome.
Which is going to be a body horror film, and I'm actually really excited about this because this is a really interesting, needy character, and she goes through a lot of changes, and it's kind of just about, you know, how you're still in a relationship, but you just kind of hang on there, and it's not really doing you or the other person any good, but it's just like the familiar is what you choose over the uncertainty of being apart from that person, and just how it manifests itself. But I think when I read a script, I kind of see it like you would a film or a comic book, and what I was seeing in my head, I was just like, oh, this is gonna be the cause of so many couples are gonna see this and then, like, bring up shit that happened years ago and, like, get no fucking. So, like, some people go home and screw up the movies. It's like all the couples that see this are going to go home and totally fight afterwards. So this might be good for have a clearing prior to seeing the film with your partner or your loved one, and just be like, okay, so remember that time you got drunk at my sister's wedding and you puked in, like, the soup tureen and you hit it like a kid that broke a lamp? Yeah, that still pisses me off that happened, kind of thing.
Right. And I saw that film is. Well, the inspiration rating to base off of really is from the Emmys for Murder, or the ABCs of Death part, was a 1.5, I think it is, which I just watched recently. And if it's anything like that little 4-minute video, I'm pretty excited for it. That was pretty gruesome. So that's really cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. Well, I'm really excited about it. And it's, you know, I was kind of worried for a while there that I'm like, oh, if I just do Soska projects, which, don't get me wrong, if I could get away with just doing Soska projects all the time, like Jay and Silent Bob kind of deal, then I probably would. But having to work with other directors like Jill Six and Todd is just, it's forcing me to be like, okay, you can't just work with your friends all the time, but then you make new friends on set. So it's kind of like summer camp. It's like, you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to get along with everybody. I wonder if I'm going to make any friends. And then, like, by the end of the first day, it's like, yeah, we're all in this. It's all cool.
That's cool. And the last one, we were kind of blown away by this. I saw that you're doing it's true or not, a documentary, or casting for a documentary. Is that something that you're doing that has to do with plus-size models?
Yes, that's actually called Perfect 14.
Okay.
And they interviewed me for that, just kind of on my take on the beauty standard and kind of how, if you see a curvy girl and she says, "Oh, I'm a model," everyone's just kind of like, "Yeah, right, you're a model." And then she says, "I'm a pinup model," and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I see that." Like, just kind of, where we as a society are kind of looking at, what the beauty standard is for that, and just kind of how a third wave feminist would take that, and coming from a burlesque background and a pinup background and fetish background, like you see all kinds of body shapes and types, and it's a lot like I always liken kind of that sort of thing to candy or porn. What's not one person's taste, somebody else is totally into it. And the internet's kind of given us that, whereas before you only saw what the media wanted you to see. Whereas now, you can have someone who's a pinup model who, they don't have an agency. They don't need a tear sheet. They don't need, here's your editorial and here's your commercial work. It's just like, yeah, I'm just DIY doing it myself. So it's really cool to be involved with the folks putting that together as well. And then they also have interviewed a few local pinups as well, like Ellie Mayday, who she's currently going through cancer right now, and she's still doing photo shoots and stuff, and she's just like, "Fuck you, I'm still gorgeous, cancer, you can kiss my ass."
That's awesome.
I think that's so inspiring to a lot of women, because it's like, you feel less of a woman if you, with the idea that you don't have, if you have to have a mastectomy, or if you lose your hair from your cancer treatment. She's just like, "Fuck that, I still own my glamour," and it's just like...
That's great.
Yeah. And then also Crystal Precious, one of my other best friends, was interviewed for it, and they came to the Kiefer Bar where we do our weekly burlesque show, and shot some of that there too, which was really nice, because Crystal's really curvy and I'm curvy but muscular, so to have two different body styles represented that way, but still really awesome, interesting people as well to describe what these people go through, and just kind of be like, what, beauty standard? Fuck you. I define my own beauty. I'm not owned by it. So I think that's really important for a lot of people to see, to kind of draw inspiration from.
That's awesome. And now, is this going to be something that's going to be out worldwide, or is this going to be an exclusive? When can we see this, basically?
I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they're going to release it online. So,
okay.
But I should find out more about that, because I think it would do a lot of people some good to see kind of, it's just like, hey, this is what we're doing on the West Coast, and it's not just a West Coast thing. I see gorgeous pinups from all over the world, and everything from they're really tall and slender to they're short and curvy, and everything in between. So it's kind of cool that it's you're not defined by what your body is, because while we can change our body with body modifications, there's just, there's certain limitations. I had to give up the idea that I was ever going to be 5'8" outside of wearing heels. It's just not going to happen.
That's really cool. I think it's we were shocked when I saw that, and that's why I wanted to ask you, because are you considered, I guess, a plus size model? Is that what they're saying, or because that shocks us? So.
No, I think they're just. But it's funny because. Like Betty Page, I would be considered too hippie or too short to be to do runway and to do a lot of conventionally modeling, but I still do a lot of modeling. So I had kind of this internal dialogue with myself when I was in my late teens, early 20s, that I could either be just kind of give up on that, or say, I still want to produce these images, and I have this kind of idea with my visual art translating into modeling and photography. How am I going to express that? And, this was just when, MySpace was getting started. I started my own website, and I also had, we have a lot of talented people in Vancouver, so I just kind of worked with everybody I could. And that really kind of helped build me up. And so I think they were kind of just saying, from someone who's established themselves and didn't let themselves be defined by, what the industry said, because, where's the fun in that?
Right. One thing, and maybe David can ask this, we love digging on what people have done in the past and where they are today. We started cracking up when we saw this, so we kind of want to know about was it the zombie Amy Winehouse?
Oh yeah, MTV. That's what was that film called?
Yeah, what was it?
That was the short for Crazy Dracula Spring Break Weekend.
There we go.
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
title.
That was the title.
Crazy Dracula Spring Break Weekend.
Yeah, what was that all about?
There's an intervention, and he winds up going to rehab where he happens to meet zombie Amy Winehouse. Unbeknownst to me, that was prior to her death. And then my friend Bloody Betty did a rock and roll tragedies burlesque show. And she's like, she didn't even blink. She's like, "You're Amy Winehouse." I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'm Amy Winehouse." So I come out as Amy Winehouse, and I'm in a straitjacket. And I stripped down, and I had like a little flap in here, and then I had like a mirror that folded down. So I basically did coke off my pasty on stage as Amy Winehouse. And not 8 hours later, that's when she died. And I was like,
Wow.
God, I killed Amy Winehouse. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I'm like, shit, maybe I should do like a number as our Prime Minister, Stephen Harper, because he's an ultra-conservative bastard who's trying to sell us out for oil money. So it's just like, if I dress up like Stephen Harper, does that mean he dies 8 hours later?
Who else can we dress up like?
No,
Like, who else do I think is like fucking up the earth?
I think next time when we do one of these,
Ford.
I think next time when we do one of these, I'll be Justin Bieber.
There you go.
And you can pick someone. Yeah.
You guys can keep him. I'm sorry. We shipped him off to you. He's your problem now.
We don't want him. We don't want him. You can have him back. It's fine.
Yeah. Ever since I saw his mugshot and someone on Facebook had like put him alongside Gozer, I'm like, don't ruin Ghostbusters for me with that. Just don't ruin Ghostbusters. I don't want to think about Justin Bieber when I'm looking at Gozer the Gazarian. That's horrible. Why would you do that to somebody?
I know, real time.
So, anything else that's going on with you that's current besides your film projects? What else do you have going on that people can come see you out in Vancouver, possibly, or anything to that extent?
Well, in Vancouver, every Thursday night we do a burlesque show, my troupe, Sweet Soul Burlesque, at the Kiefer Bar in Chinatown, which is this super narrow, like little, you'd walk by it if you didn't know where to look for it, but it's we perform in front of a giant picture window, and it's really awesome because we always notice taxi cabs that nobody called pulling up just as we happen to be getting naked in the window. So apparently word has gotten around. Unnecessary taxi.
Yeah.
Taxis that are waiting for no one.
Very cool.
But we also have on the full moon this Saturday, Crystal Precious is doing her album release party at the Rio Theater, which is awesome because we're going to have live performances. Every girl in our troupe is performing, plus some special guests. And I'm doing a 3-person number on stage, which I'm very excited about, and doing a little bit of strange performance art, as I do.
Okay.
And then at the end of the month, we've got Beam Me Up Sexy, which is a nerdlesque show at the Wise Hall on the 28th. And then March 1st, we're doing this Tarantino burlesque show again over at the Rio Theater. So good times. Lots of good times all around. Lots of strange and unusual performance art. And mostly an excuse to be naked on stage. So.
There you go. There you go. Sounds like you're very busy. Very cool.
I know, real busy.
So I guess to wrap it up, one question that we have that I love to ask, and this is the second time that somebody's asked this. I asked it one more time with an actress named Ellie Church for Trauma. Name you in 3 words or less. Who is Tristan Risk in 3 words?
Obnoxious, hilarious, nudist.
Very good. Very nice.
Good choice.
Yeah, I think Ellie was like, F you. I don't want to do that. So
That's 5 words, though.
I was like, that's a lot of words, actually. That's very cool. Well, you know what? That's pretty much what we have. We didn't want to take up too much of your time.
Oh, thank you very much. This was lovely. Thank you for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it.
We had a blast,
Thank you.
and we hope to be able to keep this relationship going. If you have anything else that's going on, please let us know so we can help get that word out there for you.
Absolutely.
You know, and I cannot wait to see your new films. We are excited over
They
here.
sound
So,
pretty good.
yeah, they sound really awesome.
Thanks this time.
That's right. Hey, have you had any weird? Since you're in, that's a great question, really. Since you were in the whole entire mass, so to speak, in American Mary, do people, I don't know, recognize you outside of that? Because of that? Because man, that was such a weird role. You know what I mean? And did you get to keep the prosthetic? Out of curiosity.
Actually, hang on a sec. I'll
Yes.
All right, sweet. We get random prop.
So, the Soskas did this for me, and it's really awesome. So what this is one of the Beatrice masks, and then the mask I wore when I died, basically.
Okay.
So that's on the
Wow.
bottom was the beaten up face mask, and the normal face is above that with one of the photos of Beatrice, and then there's like one of the sides. So it was a really touching gift to get from them, but yeah, I live in East Vancouver, which is it's a little bit of a rough place. I think it's more like Montmartre in Paris, in Vancouver, but there's been known to be break-ins, and I find it's a really effective theft deterrent if you hide this somewhere where if they're looking in your window, you can see it. It's like, oh, there's like faces on the wall, and there's a lot of. I have lots of medical specimens of animals and stuff, mostly replicas, but there's a lot of dead things in that house. Maybe we'll just skip this one.
That's right.
When you pick that badly. No. And then what are they going to take? Like 10 tons of vinyl that nobody else wants, and Tango Records and Susie and the Banshees? Probably not. I'll probably see them trucking it down the street and be like, you want to turn around and put that right back in the house. Okay, thanks.
I think you're the first person I've ever met that has someone's face framed. So that's pretty awesome.
So it's kind of like it's my own brand, but...
Exactly, yeah. Very cool. Well, Tristan, we appreciate your time. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much. Same to you, gentlemen. Enjoy your beer.
Cheers, and have a great evening with your grandfather.
Bill Risk.
There you go. See you later. Have a good night.